The very womb of our society is toxic. Hey everyone, Joffrey the Giant. Do you find art dumb, particularly lately? Do you find art suffocating, particularly lately? Do you find art to have been suffocated, particularly lately? There's a reason for that. Wokeness is to art as the scalpel and the needle are to a baby in utero. So, we'll get back to what I mean by that. I have on my mind three very beautiful songs. One is The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. It's actually by the band, so called because they were Bob Dylan's band, probably the greatest band name ever, The Band. And Joan Baez had a super well-known version. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. Virgil Caine is my name, and I rode on the Danville train. And it talks about, well, a guy who's a Confederate soldier just trying to survive and trying to get home. Joan Baez, well, you know who she was. If ever there was a boomer version of the flaming lib, well, she was that. She has some amazing taste in folk songs. I think of a song like Yankee Bayonet by the Decemberists. The Decemberists are a 25-year-old hipster band out of Portland, Oregon. And they're called the Decemberists because they're commies. I mean, that's what a Decemberist is. It's a kind of commie. And they have this gorgeous song called Yankee Bayonet, set in South Carolina. And it's from the perspective of poverty and defeat. The Confederacy is great for that, eh? I think of Justin Townes Earle's One Pine Hill, which is actually about the destruction of a town in the wilderness by mining companies. But, back in the 19th century. So the main character, he talks about joining the Army of Virginia in 1961 and then what he comes home to. All these are beautiful songs. If you hear yelling, by the way, it's one of my sons watching a game. So what do I mean by wokeness being to art what the scalpel and needle are to the lil baby? I mean, we have an old boomer song. These all kind of trace. They are new folk songs, right? This song, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, would never be performed these days. And further, would never be conceived of these days. Art is conception. And it's not just this slow deadening, which has been happening, but we're actually to the point now where art has been murdered. Communists kill art, as you all know. But there's definitely been a sharpening of it, right? With this, with wokeness as it is, right? Not whatever New York City liberalism might have been in the 60s and 70s, not political correctness in the 90s, but this sharp, savage, purging wokeness. Lone Pine Hill was written in, 07, 08? And Yankee Bayonet, about the same time. One thing I can tell you, these songs would not be conceived of today. Because they're so unacceptable. They fall beyond the pale and beyond that which can be conceived. People's minds shy away from such things. There's a holocaust of babies going on. It's a holocaust of conception. Think about what abortion has meant for blacks in the United States. Think about what Black America, what blessings they would have now. what blessings the world would have had there not been this wholesale pushing of and acceptance of Margaret Sanger's dream eugenicist agenda. And now black babies die at enormous rates compared to all the other little kiddies. And what great men and women have we never met because of that? When we're talking about wokeness, we talk a lot about cancellation. And yes, cancellation obviously impacts the arts. And communism kills the arts. But the greater loss, by far, is everything that has been aborted by, everything that has never even been conceived of. Because the very womb of our society is toxic. And if something ever does get planted, well, it gets aborted. Ultimately, here at the end of the video, what we get to is Christians, we need to make amazing, beautiful art. And we need to make it for each other and encourage it in each other. We need to keep it out of the hostile womb of woke society. We make it strong, we make it flourish here. Let people see the beauty of our cathedrals. Let people see the beauty of our stories, of our movies, of our poems, of our paintings. Try to provide environments. Try to provide friendly wombs, if you have some resources, to Christian artists. Build up, if you're not an artist yourself, build up your artistic acumen so that you can be a critic and, more importantly, a patron who's a Christian. That matters. That's providing that friendly womb. All right, the peace of Christ be upon you.
What day is it today? Remind me.
It's Sunday, Mr. Pinch.
Sunday. And what do we do on a Sunday morning, wherever we happen to be? We go to church, you bloody heathen!